Now our topic is plant matrix. With the help of plant matrix, we can identify the plant species diversity with the help of Simpson method. Okay, and we will calculate the species diversity index. It is equally applicable for the plant species as well as the animal species. Here, on the basis of prepared matrix or on the basis of given plant matrix, we will prepare the plant diversity index. First thing is that it's a method of Simpson method. Simpson was the British statistician and civil servant. He proposed this index in 1949, and the Edward Hughes Simpson who proposed this method for the animal or the insect or the other species as well as plant species and animal species. Straightforward, go to the formula of Simpson method. The formula is species diversity. Sometimes it is identify the capital D. Identify 1 minus summation small n to n minus 1 divided by summation capital N minus 1. This is the basic formula of Simpson method. Okay, this is the formula. Through this formula we can derive the species diversity, rather plant species diversity. Now come to the abbreviation small n. The small n is the number of individual species, and capital N stands for the total number of species. It included all the species. Okay, it includes all the species. Or small n for the individual species. This is very simple formula. Okay, through the help of this formula we can derive the species diversity. Here Simpson diversity index measures the community diversity, and it is commonly used for the biodiversity. Suppose a data is given to you. Suppose this data is given to you. This is data for grade 1. Plant species matrix always collected from the field. Raw data always collected from field, and data set always collected to a square grid. Okay, or quadra. It's called quadra, square grid. Suppose data is given to you. This is for the grid number 1 and grid number 2, and the species are given here. One is flowering plant, then non-flowering plant, cactus, woody tree, and palm tree. And same species are there. Okay. Then this is the number of the species for the grid 1. These are the number of species. These are the number of species of grid 2. This is the raw data. With the help of raw data, we have to calculate the index. How we will calculate the index? For calculate the index, we will take help of the formula, and we will find all these things to the help of calculator. First thing is go to the formula. We will apply this formula for the calculating the index. First one, we will take the grid 1. Okay, for the grid 1, from the given data, those are the species 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and those are the number of species. Number of species denoted by the small n. First column is the types of species. This is the column number 1. Then column number 2 is number of species. It is denoted by the small n. Then third column is the go to the formula. Then then n stand for the number of individual species. These are the individual species. Okay, then n minus 1. Then create this column n minus 1. n is 2, then n minus 1 is 1, 8 minus 1 is 7. Okay, then 1 minus 1 is 0, and then 1 minus 1 is 0, and so on. Okay, and we have prepared this column. Okay, third one is n minus 1. Okay, this is the third column, n minus 1, and next one is n into n minus 1. This is the fourth column. Okay, this is the fourth column. Okay, this is basically the multiplication of column number 2 and 3. This is n, and n into n minus 1, n into n minus 1. This is n minus 1, and this is n. So the fourth column is the multiplication of this one and this one, and the result will be, you will write the result in here. So 2 into 1 is 1, 8 into 7 is 56, 1 into 0 is 0, and so on. Okay, and fourth column is the formula. Straightforward, go to the fifth column, that is the formula. Formula for the calculation of the whole things, you have to identify this. So sum up this column and you will get this value, summation n into n minus 1. This is 64. Adding this column, you can get this value. Now come to this one. This one is n into n minus 1. N stand for the overall number of spaces. Okay, this is 10. Number of spaces is 15. So 15 into 15 minus 1, that is 15 into 14. With the help of calculator, 14 into 15, the value is 210. Value is 210. Okay, for the formula, you are getting 1 minus 64 divided by 210. Then result will be this one, and 1 minus then this one, and result will be this one. Okay, 1 minus 64 divided by 210, then result will be 0.69. It also provides information about the probability. So this is the Simpson index for the grid number 1. So what will be the Simpson index for the grid number 2? Similarly, go for the grid number 2 and do the similar calculation. Those are the spaces 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the number of spaces denoted by the small a. This is the column number 1, column number 2, and third column is n minus 1, and fourth column is just summation of column number 2 and just multiplication of column number 2 and column number 3. Then n into n minus 2 is equals to 6, n into n minus 1 equals to 6, so on, and then add all these things, make a summation, and you can get the result. So you can get the information, summation n into n minus 1, that is 46, and go for that calculation. Here the total number of spaces is 17. Now it may be equal to the grid number 1 and may be different from the total number of spaces from the grid number previous grid number 17. So rather n minus value is 17 minus 1, that is 17 into 16. Then you have to help of calculator, 17 into 16, value is 272. Then you have adding all these things, do the calculation. 1 minus 46 divided by 272 and minus from 1, the value is 0. The answer is 0.83. Okay, for the here observe, for the grid number 2, the value is 0.83. For the grid number 2, value is 0.83, and for the grid number, value is 0.69. So the diversity index differs from the grid number 1. Rather, plant diversity index is different for the plant number 1 and grid number 1 and grid number 2. Here I would like to mention one thing that the range of the index value is 0 to 1. Okay, range of the index value is 0 to 1 for the Simpson index. 0 to 1 and value closer to 0 describes, shows, depicts the lower density, and value nearer to the 1 depicts the higher density. So for the interpretation, the grid number 2, that value is 0.83, shows more density, more plant density, more diversified plant species than the grid number 1, because the higher range of the value shows more diversity and lower range of the value, but the value shows the lower density. Its range from 0 to 1. This is the very simple explanation and very simple example of the matrix, of calculation of Simpson matrix. Now problem is, with the geographer, how we will take the information from the field and how we will prepare this index from the plant matrix. Okay, suppose this is the grid. A group of students, suppose a group of students went for the field study and they prepared a grid in the field, a square grid or the quadra in the field. This is the 9 meter by 9 meter area coverage. There are other 81 square meter area coverage, and prepared a grid. This is grid A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, and for more accuracy, to get more information and to get more precise information, each grid 3 meters by 3 meters grid divided into the 9 small grids, small a, small b, small c, and up to the small I. Okay, then from this grid, researcher or the group of students taken 2 species, the species of shal and Polish, and record the matrix, all prepared the plant matrix. Okay, in last video I have told you that in that there are 2 ways to prepare this matrix. For the A column, they prepared the matrix. This is suppose for the sal tree. For the small a grid, we take the capital A grid, that is the grid. This is whole grid, and count the number of trees for small a, small b, small c. Count the number of shal tree from the grid number grid number A, grid number B, grid number C, so on. And similarly, a student have counted the species number 2, that is Polish, from the grid number small a, small b, small c. And from this count, we can get the raw information and we can convert into the matrix. This is the basic thing to prepare the plant matrix. Suppose from the grid A, from the grid A, we can get the information about the sal tree. This is 3 by 3 matrix. And from the grid number A, we can get the information about the Polish tree. First one for the shal tree. Second one is the Polish tree, and first one is the shal tree. And similarly, not only we can get all the information and student have to arrange all the information, it is not necessary that a student have to arrange all the information in matrix system. They can also provide their information, just write a grid number way and provides all this information, that is sal tree, this is the Polish tree, number of trees, and you can get the grid number A, B to I. Okay, so from that data, from that we can get, from the field information, we can get the raw value, the number of species of the plant species. In that way we can get that way, or in this way. Okay, from that things, suppose this is the whole matrix. Okay, whole matrix. Okay, suppose this is 9 grid. From this 9 grid, from each and every grid, we can get two kinds of information. First species is the shell, and second species is the pollen. Okay, then we have to student have prepared the index, sorry, the matrix index matrix. This is for the grid number A, and this is the species number 1, that is shell, and this is pollen species number 2. Okay, and student from this field data, student from the grid, for the grid number 1, that is shell, for the shell species, this is for pollen species. For the grid number 2, this is for shell, this is for pollen. For grid number C, this is for shell, this is for pollen, and so on up to I. We can get the information. This is for the shell, this is for the pollen. Okay, then these are the grid. In that way we can get all the information. So from that raw data, how we will prepare the Simpson matrix. Okay, this is our question. This is how we will prepare from this raw data to Simpson matrix. First thing is that we have to prepare a table. Okay, table for first why we will prepare the table. Table is essential. Why table is essential? Because formula of the Simpson matrix is that summation, it includes the individual n, summation of individual n, and the capital N. So follow the for the formula, we can identify the first thing. We have to prepare a table to identify the, these are the grids A, B, C, D, and so on, and those are the grids. Grids A contain, count the total number of shell and total number of pollen. This is species number A1, this is species number 2, and overall species number is 78. For the grid number 2, the 37 is the species number 1, and 28 is the species number 2, and overall species number is 68. So you have to this is grid number, information of the grid number 1. You adding all these things. Okay, this is the total number of shell tree, or the species number 1, and this is the adding all this number, just adding all this number and sum up the number, and you can get about the information total species number 2. Okay, if the information provide in that way, in the vertically, or in row and column, in only in row and only in column, then you can also adding all those number, and you can calculate the total number of species. Okay, so therefore you have to calculate the total number of species. Suppose in this small grid, within the help of black ink, for the grid number A, suppose for the grid number A, I have calculated the number, I have counted the number of species, I have adding all this. This is the shell tree. And for the grid number A, I have counted the pollen tree and adding all these things, and I can get that is 78 for the grid A, total number of species. Okay, then straightforward, I will go for the formula. Okay, we'll go for the formula. I think we are all familiar with the formula of this index. So straightforward, go to the formula Simpson index. Okay, what we will do? Straightforwardly, we'll go for the formula. Okay, for that formula, we can prepare a table. suppose we can prepare a table. Okay, for the, this is grid A, B, C, D, E and up to H. Okay, for the grid number 1, first is total number of species, then number of individual species. Okay, there are two types of species, that is shal and polus. Okay, two types of species, shal and polus. Number of saltry is, number of saltry from count you can get it, that is 37. Number of polus tree is 41. Then go for the formula. You know the formula, that is n is the individual species. This is the types of species. Column 1 is types of species. Suppose column 1 is type of species, this is number of individual species. Then n minus 1, that is 37 minus 1, that is 36, that is 41 minus 1, that is 40. Then n into n minus 1. So this is basically the multiplication of this column. With the help of calculator you can calculate this. With the help of calculator you can calculate this. 36 into 37 is equal to 1332 and 41 into 40 is 1640. Then you can do the summation, n minus n by 1. The summation value is, adding this 1332, the result will be 2972. And then calculate the value for n into n minus 1. Total n is 37 plus 41, that is 78. So the value is 78 minus 1, that is 77. So multiply all these things. So value is 60666. Okay, now come to the formula. You know the formula is 1 minus n into n minus 1 divided by, that is 1 minus n into n minus 1. Okay, go to the formula. Then put all these things, 1 minus this one, 2972 6006, and do the calculation. Okay, 9272 divided by 6006, and the answer is 0.50. This is the index of biodiversity, rather plant diversity. This is the index for the plant diversity for the grid number 1. Similar process for the grid number 1. Similar process continues for the grid number 2, 3, grid number B, C, D, E, all these things. Here the species basically are two types, that is shal and pia shal. That's why I am following the principle of this formula. This is the basic formula. This formula for the two species. Okay, so if the data set is just like this one, so you have to, there are two species shal and pia shal, then you have to formulate 1 minus summation n into n minus 1 divided by capital N minus 1. So this is the formula. This formula is repeatedly used for the column number A, grid number A, grid number B, grid number C, grid number D, grid number E, grid number F, so on. And you can get an index value for each and every grid. Okay, and after getting the information of plant diversity index, okay, you have to prepare, as a student of geography, we are familiar with that, we have to prepare this one. This may be according to scale. This is 9 meter and this is 9 meter. You have to do all these things according to scale and put the value A, B, C, D, E, F, I, G, H, E, F, G, E, F, G, H, I. Sorry. And then put the value and draw the isoline and prepare the index. This is the complete work of Simpson index. Thank you very much.